Ladies and gentlemen, I direct your attention in front of you to the approaching airplane that just landed. That airplane is Air Force 2. The United States Air Force 86970 was first placed into service on May 3rd, 1959. 970 has served as Air Force 1 to every president since Dwight Eisenhower and has flown every vice president since 1963. This Boeing 707 VIP configured aircraft was the first jet to carry a U.S. president abroad, when on August 26th of 1959, President Eisenhower flew aboard 970 from Washington, D.C. to the Federal Republic of Germany. Today's 970 passenger is the 43rd Vice President of the United States, the Honorable George Bush.
He's on the phone.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you here to the opening of AirSpace America, the formal opening. It is my honor now to introduce the dynamic mayor of San Diego. We have three special greetings here. One from the city of San Diego, the second from the state of California, and the third from the vice president. And we thought it would be best to let each introduce the next. And I have the honor of introducing the mayor of San Diego, Maureen O'Connor, who has done a great job, is doing a great job as mayor. This is city property we're on, and believe me, we know who's mayor of San Diego, and it's our great pleasure to introduce Maureen O'Connor.
Vice President Bush, Governor Deukmejian, members of Congress, distinguished guests. Welcome to San Diego, home of America's Cup, the Super Bowl, and now AirSpace America 88. Welcome to our city, our history, our dreams, and our newest contribution to the age of aerospace. And now, I would like to present to you the Governor of California, our friend, George Deukmejian. Mr. Governor.
California is, of course, very proud to be the host state for AirSpace America. This is a showcase of the nation's leadership in space and aviation. And we think that it is very fitting and proper that it be sited here in San Diego and in California, where the future happens first. The aerospace industry is a very powerful force for progress and prosperity. This $20 billion industry employs approximately 700,000 of our residents. It provides a magnet that draws the best and the brightest to our state, and it keeps our nation at the forefront of new technology. Even as America struggles with a trade deficit, there is one very bright spot in our international trade picture, and that is with the aerospace industry. Our nation's leadership is unmatched, and the rest of the world continues to rely on our technology and our vision. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Vice President of the United States, George Bush.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Governor. I'm glad to be back in San Diego. When I shipped overseas early in 1944, I left from San Diego, and when I returned from overseas, I returned through San Diego, and it's great to be back here now to help kick this AirSpace America 88 into the future. Kick it off. Welcome it as it challenges the future. The expansion of our frontiers to the far reaches of the solar system should be carried forward in a spirit of peace and cooperation with other countries of the world. For ultimately, we voyage outward from our planet, not as Americans, or Soviets, or French, or Japanese, but as human beings. I want to congratulate again the city of San Diego for hosting this great event. I want to thank the honored guests here today for supporting America's air and space programs, especially again Bob Wilson, who's put together one of the greatest air shows on earth. And I want to praise the men and women who go to work every day to design and build these wondrous flying machines. And I want to wish all of you a great day, a great AirSpace America 1988. I'm delighted to be here. Let the show begin. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the opening ribbon will be cut by Mr. Jim Franklin of the Franklin Air Show from Alto, New Mexico in his beautiful Cinema 600 Waco.
It's about 7.5 to 8 feet on the ground.
Great country has always been known to produce great, fantastic airplanes.
Concord?
One of the ones
That it?
that was
What is
here
this?
a few years ago finally made it. And if you look up to your right, ladies and gentlemen, the B-1B. you didn't really retire. You're at work part of the different now, but you were there when the United States. Well, I was, yeah, I did it for 26 years, Daddy, and from it, very
something for you folks maybe to put in your memory bank for tomorrow. We got one more great day, and we
steady, For you lovely ladies at the birthday of the second weekend of Aerospace 88, a heart from Team America.
And up they go. Now watch this one. Ah, isn't that beautiful? Right up over the clouds.
Beautiful formation landing, ladies and gentlemen, by Team America. Leader Chuck Fisher, number 2 Barney Register, and number 3 Brian Sanders. Sandy, how about that?
Jim, the folks have just seen one of the hardest things there is to do on this type of aircraft, and that is to land in formation with the leader.
The aircraft you see taxiing in front of you at the moment is the Quiet Short-Haul Research Aircraft, or QSRA for short. This is a one-of-a-kind research airplane that was developed by NASA. It's a proof-of-concept research aircraft that resulted from many years of conceptual design and wind tunnel studies and flight simulation work to develop flight control systems for advanced aircraft. I think you'll see today in this performance we're about to put on that we have come up with a type of vehicle that has the capability of taking off and landing from very short runways, and also has the potential in an operational aircraft of cruise speeds comparable to current jet transports. It can safely fly at very low air speeds, therefore taking off and landing at very short distances. Equivalent to about a 40 to 50 passenger commuter airliner. In this 360-degree circling departure, we're showing the maneuverability of the aircraft and the ability to use that maneuverability to keep the airplane over the airport, therefore keeping the noise away from the surrounding community. A very important aspect for civil transports of the future. Point is right. You can see the spoilers on the wing. They're just outboard of the engines. You'll notice when you retract those out here, when it does shallow out, here's flight path angle. How's that for a short stop, folks? In case you didn't believe it the first time, we're going to make a second takeoff here. This time we'll make a straight out departure to give you an idea of what kind of climb angle the airplane can attain
It was this type of performance which allowed us to take the QSRA aboard the USS Kitty Hawk off the coast of San Diego in 1980. We demonstrated to the Navy at that time the possibility of using this type of concept for future Navy aircraft without the requirement for arresting gear or catapult launch systems. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, NASA's quiet short-haul research aircraft. And it was our pleasure to be here today to show you what we think is the wave of the future.
Flying with the 8th Air Force on Germany.
Okay, a complete turnabout now. Down at the right-hand side is John Hilton from Boulder, Colorado. And ladies and gentlemen, he's in an 85-horse clip wing 1941 J3 Cub. Now, this aircraft will be doing aerobatics, but it does not have an inverted tank. It does not have an inverted oil system. And you're going to see something that's absolutely amazing. It's a J3 Cub built in 1941. John Hilton restored this Cub to what you'll see today. And it's an amazing little airplane, and he does a fine job with it. Aimed right at the ground. Used to be, years ago, they called this out of control. But there you are, 3-turn spin and right back on again. 85 horses in the front of that airplane. Okay, little falling leaf, that's the right wing. Now the left wing, now the right wing, now the left wing. Each time he does that, he's paying off about 20 feet of altitude. Coming down right towards show center. And that's what's known as the falling leaf. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a flat turn, non-bank, just strictly kicking in rudder. Kicking in rudder, keeping the wings perfectly level, and doing an absolutely flat turn. Actually sliding the aircraft through the air. And now bringing it around and tipping the wing around so he'll keep it right on the show line. Ladies and gentlemen, that's John Hilton from Boulder, Colorado. In the Clip Wing Cub, 1941 J3, 85 horse. That's Snap Roll saying thank you. As he now dives it down and brings it out at the far right-hand side of the field, circling it around.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the commanding officer of Strike Fighter Squadron 125, the commander of Light Attack Wing Pacific Fleet in the United States Navy, welcome to the F-18 Hornet flight demonstration. Proven exceptional going right and way to the hostile target area. Delivered with ordnance guns, paramount, flight and wing home. Nearly 8 times the force of gravity. Airspeed ranging 2,600 miles per hour. Those GE turbofans are spooling up to their maximum power, producing over 32,000 pounds of thrust. The angle of attack that this airplane reaches is almost unbelievable. So if you've got a video camera, get it turning for this one, because this indeed does demonstrate the slow speed capabilities of this Fighter Attack 18 Hornet. Okay, nose rotates up, starting to come in with a little more power now. There you see, 120 knots on the clock. I just got behind him, that's all. He is executing the very, very impossible looking 360-degree turn. Okay, now on the clock from 275, building upwards very, very quickly now, accelerating to 330 miles an hour, right about here. And at show center, he's going to stand it right on his tail and punch into the afterburner. Incidentally, when they touch the deck, you know, they go into full power just in case that arrestor hook misses, and so they can go right on off. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the United States Navy, the Commander, Light Attack Wing Pacific, and the Commanding Officer of Strike Fighter Squadron 125, there he is.
Bob Hoover, this time flying the Saberliner, the NA-265, the Dash 40.
He was going so fast that I thought maybe he had to be better. So he rolled out, he did it twice. James Doolittle, who was the judge, said, "What were those maneuvers you just did in your free
In 1986, Bob set 2 speed records in the aircraft. One he wound up with Sandy Sanders and me out in Reno, Nevada.
I'm looking forward to pull the Saberliner right straight up and do a vertical roll.
We're looking for a 4-point roll now as he comes to stage center, nose coming up and into the knife edge position. 4.1 to the inverted, 0.2 continuing around, 0.3 and into the upright, 0.4.
Another half, stop it right about there and just pull it on through. All right. Looks good.
Known to the military as the T-39. Again, notice how high it gets the nose. First point gets to you very, very quickly. As a matter of fact, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to the inverted. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Sandy is holding real well. I hope you video camera fans are getting some real good footage here.
Indicating to me, of course, that he's going to roll the airplane, setting up, and he'll probably have the aircraft in the landing configuration on his return. But that gives him several options.
He's the only individual ever afforded that great honor.
Saberliner very light today, of course, down to minimum fuel. Okay, smoke is on. Touch and zoom. Bob first started flying this particular type of aircraft back in 1968. And I'm sure if you already hadn't been world famous, the routine that you're going to see out here this afternoon certainly would have made him so.
Nose coming up. You'll roll the aircraft toward us. His opening salute to you nice folks here at Brownfield in San Diego.
Turn spin, he'll stop the rotation as he picks up the air show center line.
On the right-hand portion of the viewing area, you may see a little pump of smoke from those beautiful BF Goodrich aviator tires. Now on the right gear, nose coming up. Let's listen to the power reduction now as Bob comes over the top in the Shrike Commander. Power back now as Bob searches for the runway to the left gear. Also encased in those beautiful BF Goodrich aviator tires. Aviator tires, wheels and brakes. When you want the best, you go with BF Goodrich. Touchdown, roll, and touchdown.
Very soon you'll only see one trail of smoke as he shuts off the engine, then the Shrike Commander downhill from your left. The single engine inside or Barnstormer's loop. Smoke is off. You'll notice the propeller on our side absolutely dead still, furnishing no power whatsoever to the performance of the aircraft. As Bob comes to stage center. Up over the top. And as Bob slides down the backside, he'll monitor his airspeed very carefully to make sure he has enough for the 8-point roll, which will be toward us or into the dead engine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The 8-point roll into the dead engine.
Bob in the zero airspeed stall now with both engines running full. Recovering just over the top.
Both engines are off on the Shrike Commander now as Bob comes to stage center. Watch for the nose high attitude now as Bob gets down. Both propellers absolutely dead still. Now with both propellers dead still, notice how rapidly the airspeed comes off. He's down to 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 0.
Well, he did real good, Sandy, on his aerobatic maneuvers with both engines off. He did a nice inside of Barnstormer's loop, 8-point roll. 180-degree turn, but he said he was going to land and taxi right back up here. Don't forget, I got a quarter bit. I was just going to say, I happen to know what you two have been going on here over the past 20-some-odd years. Sandy, this guy would do anything for a quarter. Look at this. Across the grass, we're going to have a little meeting and reevaluate the rules.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, taking the runway now from your right in is SNJ, John Culver, a corporate pilot from Northrop. He flies King Air turboprop aircraft during the weekdays, and he flies air shows on the weekend in his SNJ. He's been doing this for the past 6 years. He has over 8,000 hours of flight time since 1968, including time in the Goodyear blimp and the TV Airwolf copter.
The aircraft that John is flying today, built by North American Aviation, down in Grand Prairie, Texas. Over 15,000 of these aircraft were built, flown by 220 allied countries. Over 200,000 allied pilots had some or a lot of training in some version of or more of the plane you're seeing out there. The Navy called it the SNJ. Over the top. Go to the aircraft. Again, rolling the SNJ on the upline. Focus on those coming up and away from us. Rolling the aircraft and stopping it at the inverted and around to the upright position, which we will call a two-point roll. Maneuvers. Coming in now. Keep the nose up, ailerons only, and there's the aileron roll. Circling out to the left-hand side. Pulling it up now, and going around with the aileron roll. There's one, and the second. Now he's going out to the far right-hand side. Number 3.
Second World War when they graduated from the Stearmans, which they called the Yellow Peril, and moved up to T6s. And then from the T6s into the B-51. All the other aircraft that we use. Okay, fighter break. And that's the fighter break. Given their basic training in Stearmans. And then from the Stearman transitioning to the T6, and then of course on to P-51s, P-38 Lightnings, and so forth. And I'm sure that at one time or another, Bob Hoover even had some time in the T6. And you know what kind of a gentleman Bob Hoover is in the air, so there he is, lining it up with the runway, going to make a gentle touchdown, a little bit on one gear, and now down on both gear. And he'll be dropping that down, tail wheel down, and he'll be coming off the runway.
He's got it down, no sweat. That airplane is known as an airplane in the whole service. That big 650 horsepower Pratt & Whitney radial engine and that Hamilton Standard propeller really makes some racket.
As you normally do in right setup, you pull back. He pushes forward right there, and there you see the upside down takeoff. How about that? Now a series of rolls as he goes down the runway. There you saw it, Mr. Double Take himself.
Get back to the left. Once again, to the left. And once again, the back and roll to the right. Down at that constant 45-degree down line.
Watch this quarter turn roll, stopping it right. Three-quarter turn roll, I should say. Push over, Humpty Dump at the top.
Let's see if Craig, sometimes he has a problem with a 16-point count. So let's see if he can do the 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14-point roll. Craig, wait a minute. Get him on the radio. I don't understand.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 and 9, 10, 11, 12 for 3 quarters, 13, 14, 15, and 16. How about that? 16 points. Hesitation roll. The right way.
Where's he upside down? He is upside down. The telltale sign is, of course, the rudder that we see as he goes by. Now, watch this as he does the half outside loop. There's the wing waggle. Craig Hoskins' way of saying hello. Okay, Craig. Now, pushing forward on that stick, which will induce about 4 to 5 negative G. As his body weight goes from 200 to 800 pounds pulling against those straps. There's an outside Cuban 8. Now, let's roll the airplane over Craig and make it fly on its side. And there you see the knife edge flight.
To do a complete upside down landing. The airplane now rolled over onto its back. Remember, everything is reversed. Upside down. Back on the stick is the nose down. Forward on the stick is the nose up. Now Craig spots the runway threshold as the letters flash before his eyes. Hanging upside down in the straps. Power coming off. Will he be able to do it? The wind is crosswind. He's got to touch it down just right. Over on the left wheel. What's that crosswind, Craig? Hold it there now. The stick goes all the way forward. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Upside down. Mr. Double Take himself.
Okay, get the gear down. It's going to be a touch and go. Ew, there that nose rotates up.
So get your cameras out. It's a low and slow pass, is what I've been told. He's pouring a cold to it. It is indeed. Pulling the nose up, and look at that gal come in, and look at the attitude that it has to be at. He's down. Oh yes, indeed. Look at that droop nose. That's a picture. Isn't That a gorgeous state-of-the-art aircraft. What a gorgeous gal that is.
And I hear Rocky all around me. Here's the big Chief Johnny.
Duel has started. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right-hand side comes Elliot Cross. Smoke on. From the left-hand side comes Jimmy Franklin. Smoke on. Coming towards each other, taking off on the same runway, aimed at right directly at each other as they come towards show center now. Just barely off the ground, Elliot Cross at the far right-hand side and Jimmy Franklin from the left-hand side penetrating towards each other. Coming right towards show center. And as they cross over, oh yeah, that's close. Elliot Cross going up in 1, 2, 3, and with the wings right on the horizon, the 4-point hesitation roll. Jimmy Franklin with the stick back in his lap at the right-hand side, up over the top of the Cinnamon 600, coming over the top now and aiming it right back down towards the ground. Now what you've just seen, ladies and gentlemen, is a beautiful exhibition of aerobatic maneuvers. But what are aerobatic maneuvers? Aerobatic maneuvers are little more than combat evasive maneuvers, highly polished for exhibition purposes. But when you're in combat, if you had somebody on your tail trying to shoot you down, you would do everything you can to get rid of him. You would pull every maneuver that you possibly can think of to shake him off your tail. You would try to outsmart him. You would try to do what he does not expect you to do. And what you are about to see is the aerobatic maneuvers that you've just seen put into actual combat. They're going to have the dueling guacos with the smoke on. They start boiling towards each other at altitude. Now remember, this is just like we do it for the movies. The only difference is you are the director and you are the cameraman. Facing each other now as they penetrate Jim Franklin from the left-hand side. Jimmy Franklin cutting around sharp, says, I'm going to get my gun sights on you. Elliot Cross pulling straight up into the air, and Jimmy Franklin looking over his shoulder, pulls it around, goes straight into the air, comes up over, trying to get the altitude, trying to get the speed, trying to get above Elliot Cross, and oh, that's close. And then now Jimmy Franklin diving down. Elliot Cross does a wing over, a real snap maneuver, and gets on Jimmy Franklin's tail. Oh yeah, he read your book, Jimmy Franklin. He's right behind you. Jimmy Franklin knows he's in trouble, does a snap roll on the way up, confusing Elliot. He comes over the top. Elliot, not to be outdone, pulls the stick back in his lap, comes down over the top, peppering away at him. He's got him in his gun sights now. Jimmy's in trouble, and Elliot right down behind him, and Jimmy Franklin pulling into the sky. Elliot cutting that circle small, cutting that circle across, and keeping right on him. Going up now. Uh-oh. Hammerhead time. And Jimmy outlasted him. Now Jimmy's got the advantage. He's on Elliot's tail. Elliot does a spin on the way down. And Jimmy Franklin doing a spin, repeating his maneuver, coming out right behind him. Good piece of flying. He's peppering away at Elliot Cross. Elliot Cross is in trouble now. He pulls straight up into the air. Jimmy Franklin right behind him. Jimmy Franklin peppering away, reading his mind, reading what the next maneuver is. And Elliot pulls it tight. Jimmy Franklin does a snap roll, comes down on top of him. Elliot Cross going straight into the air. Jimmy Franklin going up. Look at that. He does a bunt maneuver, and he outsmarted Jimmy. Oh, yeah. He did that bunt maneuver. Jimmy got pulled away and pulled hard to the left. And Elliot Cross up over the top now. He looks over his shoulder, and he sees Jimmy Franklin coming over the top. Now he rolls it over. Comes down towards Jimmy Franklin. Gets on Jimmy's tail. Jimmy's doing a loop, and Elliot cuts the loop in half. Peppers away at him. Oh, right through the smoke. You think they're not at the same altitude. Oh, yeah. Right over the top now. And starts following Jimmy through again. And Jimmy pulling it around sharp and tight. Elliot cutting around. Can't get him in the gun sights yet. And Jimmy Franklin diving down. Elliot Cross following him down. He read your book, Jimmy Franklin. He's right on you. You better do something, son, real fast. Jimmy Franklin rolls to the inverted position, dives it down to the ground. Elliot Cross right after him with the 450, peppering away at him as he goes. Jimmy Franklin pulling it up, does the stalling. Oh, yeah, look at this. Look at this. He stalled it, and Elliot went right past him. Oh, that's good flying. Oh, that's good stuff. And Jimmy goes diving out of it. Oh, that's great. And Elliot right down behind him. Elliot's got the speed now. He just dove down from the sky. He pulls the stick back, calls on the power of that 450 to carry him over the top. Jimmy's down below him. Jimmy's going to take him down. Elliott right on his tail. Jimmy pulling it straight into the sky. Elliott right in behind him. And you think they aren't close. He just flew right through his smoke. Over the top of the snap roll. Elliott right down in behind Jimmy. Jimmy going out to the left-hand side. Elliott crossed right on him. Peppering away, shooting away at him. Now that's some kind of flying. That's the Emmelman turn. And Elliott crossed right on his tail. Following him around. Staying right with him, and I mean right in that smoke. Now, if you don't think that's close, that's close. Oh, yeah. And he cuts it short. Jimmy Franklin doing a tight turn. Now, quickly snapping the other way. Elliott Cross couldn't hold that turn. Dove down. Had to get the speed back. Goes out to the far right-hand side. Jimmy Franklin out to the left-hand side. Diving down and now climbing back into the sky. And ladies and gentlemen, the smoke trails in the sky write very vividly to you. This is combat. This is exactly the way it was done back in the First World War. When someone got on your tail, you did anything and everything to get rid of that person. And they just gave you a fine performance, exactly the way it's done for the movies. The only difference, we would have guns on there with little wink lights on them. The wink lights would go off, and then later on in the sound booth, they'd put the machine gun fire to it.
What did I tell you, folks? Did you like that? Yes, sir. Jimmy Franklin, Elliott Cross. You've seen the best.
Sandy, I think you've got a helicopter that's about to launch. I don't know where he is. I see Sandy, he's coming out to the left. Okay, Sandy Sanders, out to our left. Hey, listen, I get the easy names to pronounce. Boris Savinov in the Mi-34. Designed in 1986, and it has a maximum speed of about 130 knots, cruising about 100 knots. And he is going to put on a helicopter demonstration here for us. This is used as a training helicopter in Russia. And Boris Savinov will be putting the Mi-34 through its paces.
And how about that for a hammerhead stall turn? Or should I say a hammer and sickle stall turn?
Up at a 45 degree, there's that half roll, right up over the top. And how many times have you seen a helicopter do that?
Now, we've all seen helicopters fly backwards, but I want you to watch the speed at which this one flies backwards while negotiating a 180 degree turn.
You can see both the pilot and the aircraft quite versatile.
And as he does his climbing 360, and there you see how low that he gets that tail rotor in a 360 degree turnaround.
As he does the ballet dance off to the left of the wings. Boris Savinov in the Mi-34.
Sandy, they're going to taxi this big Hummer to AM-124 down to the east end of the field.
We're here at the AN-124 with Anatoly Bulinenko. Hello, Anatoly. How are you?
Hello. We arrived here to take part in the air show, AirSpace America 88. It's our first appearance in the USA. 2 years ago, we were in Canada at Abbotsford Air Show. So we bring on the wing of our aircraft the friendship of our people to the people of America.
Thank you. Thank you. That's much appreciated. When you came over this time, what was your cargo?
We bring into our fuselage a small aerobatic aircraft, Sukhoi Su-26M, and a small helicopter, Mi-34, and any kind of equipment for exhibition. Some models of our design bureau from Kiev, Antonov Design Bureau, and also from Moscow.
Now, on the AN-124, how many of them do you have in service now?
I am not arranged for the serial production, but it seems to me in service now approximately 20.
Now, I understand also that you are now making the aircraft available for sale. Is that correct?
Yes, it may be. Even now, if anybody wants to buy this named aircraft, we are ready and fly home by Airfloat or Panam. It may be.
If the price is right.
Yes.
Okay. And what is the price?
You see, if you want to buy, I'll propose you to begin from $1,020,000 and $1,050,000 from the beginning for talk. And then everything depends from our agreement.
Okay, now you folks have got it first. We're taking bids. The aircraft has set many world records for distance and for load. May you enumerate on those for us?
Yes. Our aircraft has 23 world records registered in the Federal of Aviation Sport in Paris. So we have a certificate. Last our record was the flight, non-stop flight around the whole territory of the USSR. 20,151 kilometers during 25.5 hours.
Now, shall we go up to the flight deck?
Yes. Yes, it's possible.
Okay. We're here on the flight deck of the AN-124 with Pete Schwartz, who was one of the Czech pilots that escorted the Russians and helped them get in through our airspace. Is that correct, Pete?
That's right. Actually, I'm not a pilot. I'm a weapons controller, but I'm one of the escort officers for this flight.
Can you tell us about the general operation of this aircraft? Looks like there's a crew of 6.
That's right. There's a crew of 6 on the flight deck with a complement of 8 technicians for loading cargo. And in addition, this aircraft has a total of 29 for the total Soviet delegation.
How about the crew positions during operation of this aircraft? How do they differ from, say, a C-5?
Well, let's see. I don't really know about a C-5, but for this Antonov aircraft, we have 2 flight engineers sitting where you are sitting now. And over on the right, we have a radio operator, and those are, let's see, a radio operator and a navigator. And then up front, of course, you have the co-pilot and the pilot.
Okay, so 2 flight engineers, a radio operator, a navigator, and 2 pilots.
That's right.
How about control system on this aircraft? Fly-by-wire?
As a matter of fact, it is a fly-by-wire, and that's one of the distinctions that the Soviets have pointed out as a difference between this Antonov 124 and the C-5, because they say that their aircraft is fly-by-wire, whereas the C-5 is not.
And that's why we can see this aircraft do the incredible flight demo, that low-level flight demo that it in fact does.
That's right. It was an exciting flight to be aboard, to go through the maneuvers that they did.
Yeah, we first saw them fly in Paris, and it's nothing short of awesome for a machine this size.
And it's awesome to be aboard. They're good pilots, and it's a lot of fun.
Any other pertinent things or comments about the aircraft, the crew, or its operation that you'd like to relay to our viewers?
Only that it's an impressive aircraft, and the crew was not only competent but very friendly, and it's a pleasure to fly aboard with them.
They were very gracious to us here today, and of course at Paris also.
Thanks.
Huge AN-124. Now he's going to set it down, and then he's going to, I don't know if he's going to back taxi down or not. We'll just have to wait and see, because last weekend they were keeping the airplane down on the east end. Okay, in come the reversers.
Straight down and pays off at the bottom. 4, the loop with a roll on the top. Be seeing this airplane along with some others as they'll be competing in the
World Aerobatic Championships in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. This summer, when Canada will host the World Aerobatic Championships. There you see him push over from the bottom. Up and over the top. Utilizing a different propeller change of pitch than we do, which they do it with a vane, and utilizing airspeed to change their pitch control. There you see he goes up vertically, and the wing slide. Vertical roll coming straight down. The aircraft, as you can see, is a cantilever monoplane with a symmetrical wing section and a non-retractable, of course, tail wheel and landing gear. As I mentioned before, titanium. It has a welded truss fuselage of high-strength stainless steel tubing, and the wing panels are removable on the airplane. The skin panels of honeycomb composite materials, and the wing is a one-piece, two-spar wing. There you see the tail slide. And in forward stick to utilize there is the outside flick roll, as they call it, instead of snap roll.
takeoff position, the opposing solo, Major Jeff Remington, and a slow speed roll on takeoff. cloud cover. We're going to have a real good picture of the... They're out, ladies and gentlemen. All of them jumping out the back. All 52 of them running down the length of that aircraft and out the back. And now starting to join up in the center. You can see a cluster joining up together. Already about 10 men. Now 15, 20. 20 men connected together. 30 men. 40 men. All of them flying in. All of them doing their thing. They've got 60 seconds to do this in as they fall from the sky. And the cluster begins to build. There's about 20 men hanging outside and a lady. And now they start moving in. One of the ladies has already joined up. And now the rest of the men start joining up. 2 photographers will be above them to photograph them. They're almost all joined up, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more men left. Come on, get it in there, guys. Let's go. Record coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Record, record. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we got it. And the smoke trailer, that's the guy taking the pictures. Now watch for the silk. Look at the silk. Look at the silk. Oh, yeah. Do we have a yes? Somebody yell down to me. One of you jumpers. Do we have a record? All right, all the tiptoe landings. Do we have a record? Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we missed it by... Johnny, they missed it by that much. You're fired. Okay. No, I guess they didn't get it. They missed it by 1 man. They missed it by 1 man. And I think the record stands for a biplane, for hookup of parachutes like that, at somewhere around 32. Okay, these ram air canopies, very maneuverable. As you can see, the man on top.